The following slides were previously covered on part 1 of The Prison of Your Mind.
I know in your mind we have this stigma of who goes to jail, but I'm telling you, normal, quote unquote, upstanding citizens, normal people go to jail. As an example, there was one young man who had no criminal history, no criminal record, and he fell asleep while driving, and he ended up killing someone, and he ended up doing 2 years in jail. And I go to visit him, and trust me, he's up in the front row of the Bible study, just boo-hoo crying, because he's in a situation now that he can't imagine. I'm talking about a normal person with no record. Amen. But he killed somebody. And when you even if it's by accident, if you accidentally kill somebody, guess what? There's a good chance that if you don't have a good lawyer, you're going to jail. So a normal person, normal people go to jail. And every time that I text and drive, or every time I ain't paying attention, I remember him and I throw my phone on the side. Because I start thinking about what can happen to you if you accidentally kill someone, or accidentally hurt someone. So I want to remind you that normal people do go to jail, upstanding citizens do go to jail. And the Lord began to reveal to me and show me that He began to remind me, actually, that prisoners are not dissimilar, they're not disparate, they're not always deviant. Yeah, there is the Ralphs when you go into jail, but that's really the minority. And if you really look around town, there are some Ralphs that are outside the jail. Amen. Ralphs are not just in the jail. There are some Ralphs outside the jail. Amen. So, as I began to realize that as time went on, I began to see that there were real normal people in the jail. And then also the Lord began to deal with me and begin to show me, as I ministered in the jail program, that the problems that they were facing in the jail were very similar to the problems that you face outside the jail. It's just, it looks different, but it's the same thing. We like to think of ourselves as the free ones. But we don't realize that the same issues they're dealing with, we don't realize that a lot of times we're dealing with them, but from a different aspect. Once upon a time, Kim and I, we went to go minister. There was a stay-at-home mom who was, struggling with some issues. And we go to visit this stay-at-home mom. And as we go to visit this stay-at-home mom, on the way to her house, we met this most adorable, sweetest little lady who was the toll booth operator. Amen. And I never forget that toll booth operator, because she just was adorable. Like if you just took a picture and you just put her on there. And as you meet the toll booth operator, we go past the toll booth operator, and then we see the stay-at-home mom who had a husband who was having problems with his coworkers. And then the stay-at-home mom also had a child who was rebelling against her teachers. The mother had an older son from a previous marriage who was deployed to Afghanistan and missing family. He had joined the military because he was tired of his immediate family judging him for being a loser, for not being able to manage his financial issues. Many of his fellow soldiers had attempted suicide because the life and death combat situations that they had seen, and they didn't really understand the purpose of their life after seeing life thrown away so casually. Keeping all that in mind, I want you to see that the issues that people are dealing with on the outside of the jail, the issues that you're dealing with on the outside of the jail, are not all that different than the people that are dealing with issues inside the jail. As a matter of fact, there are people inside the jail who are free, and there's people who are outside the jail who are locked up. The mother may not be in a jail cell, but without a second car while her husband is at work, her house her neighborhood becomes a cell block and a jail yard. Amen? The toll booth operator may not be a felon, but the toll booth operator who sees the same cars every day, the same change, the same scenery every day for 30 years, begins to hope and pray for some randomness. I had a talk with a toll booth operator, and he said, "Pastor, I'm so sorry. I secretly pray for an accident to happen." He said, because he sees the same thing every day. Amen. He said, when something different happens, I get excited. Amen. But I get so tired of seeing the same thing every day. The husband may not have a conviction of assault and battery, but he too has problems, just like the cellmates do, about playing well with others. The adolescent may not have to deal with crooked correctional officers, but he too is chafing under the rules of an elementary school. The soldier may not be looking at 20 to life, but on the mountain in Afghanistan, he misses his family just as much as the person inside the jail cell. And many warfighters who are taking their lives at an epidemic rate are suffering from the same loss of purpose that an inmate deals with after they get a conviction. So, you may not be in a jail cell today, physically, but we all are in jail cells spiritually. We all are dealing with some issue in life where you are making it bigger than what it is. We all are dealing with some issue in life where God is attempting to set you free, but you won't come out of the jail cell. Where God has opened the door and said, "Come on out, my babies." And you keep saying, "I'm institutionalized. I'm used to being in here. I like being in here." I hope Mama Terry will fuss me out in the car maybe, but we've got a family member who spent 20 to 30 years in jail. And he got out, and it was almost like he deliberately tried to get back up in the jail because he got so used to being in jail, he don't know how to act when he's not in jail. And many people become institutionalized where dysfunction becomes comfortable to you. And you've got to ask yourself, has dysfunction become comfortable to you? Has wrongness become right to you? Do you relish in what is wrong? See, God, who the Son has set free, it is free indeed. We are all in a jail cell of sorts, and God has set it up for us to be free. Amen? But the problem is, and we have a videotape. Do you have that video of the problem? This is from a movie called The Shawshank Redemption.
Only cost us a pack of smokes per man. I made my usual 20%, of course.
This big shot lawyer calls me long distance from Texas. I say, yeah? He says, sorry to inform you that your brother just died. Brother's that a rich man. Do you hear me in that?
35,000. That's what's left.
Dollars? They got it all.
Man, you nuts. Keep your eyes on your mouth, man. Hey.
Oh, yeah. Maybe enough to buy a new car, and then what? I gotta pay tax on the car.
That's a lot of editing right there.
You trust your wife? You can't keep that 35,000. What did you say? 35,000. 35,000. All of it. All of it.
Every penny.
Start making sense.
If you want to keep all that money, give it to your wife. The IRS allows a one-time only gift to your spouse for up to $60,000.
That's free. IRS can't touch one cent.
You're a smart banker with Philly's wife, aren't you?
Why should I be a smart banker like you? So I can end up in here with you.
It's perfectly legal. Go ask the IRS. They'll say the same thing. Actually, I feel stupid telling you this. I'm sure you would have investigated the matter yourself for you. That would save you some money. If you get the forms, I'll prepare them for you. Nearly free of charge. I'd only ask 3 beers apiece for each of my co-workers.
Co-workers, yeah, that's red, man.
Like a man, working outdoors feels more like a man. If you can have a bottle of suds. So in my opinion. So,
What are you Jimmy staring at? Back to work. Oh, what?
And that's how it came to pass that on the second to last day of the job, the convict crew that tarred the plate factory roof in the spring of '49 wound up sitting in a row at 10 o'clock in the morning, drinking icy cold Bohemia-style beer, courtesy of the hardest screw that ever walked the turn at Shawshank State Prison.
Drink up while it's cold, ladies.
We sat and drank with the sun on our shoulders and felt like free men who had been tarring the roof of one of our own houses. We were the lords of all creation. As for Andy, he spent the break hunted in the shade, a strange little smile on his face, watching us drink his beer.
hey, want a cold one, Andy? No thanks. Ain't no drink.
You could argue that he died to curry favor with the guards, or maybe make a few friends among us cons. Me, I think he did it just to feel normal again, if only for a short while.
So right there you see the prison mentality that, and I want y'all to understand as well, there's nothing wrong with understanding that creature comforts in life, being thankful about creature comforts in life. Because you got to realize you too are in a jail cell. Amen. And the jail cell is this earth. Amen. The jail cell is this world. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying the creature comforts in life. There's nothing wrong with enjoying it for a moment or for a season. But how many have ever seen the movie? Have you ever seen the movie? Oh yeah. Miss Patty, I'll tell you. This guy, he's framed. He goes to jail. He's a nice man. He goes to jail for like 20 to 30 years, and that's the beginning of his redemption, because he begins to get on the side of the fellow prisoners, and he gets on the side of the warden and everything. He begins to do little tasks, and in the end, he breaks out and he gets free. Amen. So what I want to share with you is the creature comfort, or what he did right there. That's what you do for the season to get by. But Andy Dufresne never gave up on getting out of the jail cell. And what I'm trying to say with you is Andy Dufresne never became institutionalized, because he never knew, and he never thought, Sister Patty, that his purpose was to be in that jail. For his entire life, Andy Dufresne, he enjoyed the creature comforts, and he enjoyed the little bonuses that he got while he was in the jail. But he never thought that that was what it was all about. He never thought that his purpose was to be in this jail. He always had the higher goal.